My choice I make, it's my new rebellious way.
Hello and welcome to the Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. I'm your host, Crypto Jack, coming to you live this Friday, December 4th, 2020. Markets began sliding this morning with Bitcoin dipping below 19K currently. Question on everyone's mind, of course, is if we're going to be heading into a bearish weekend ahead. But to discuss all this and more, I have with me two of our cracking crypto analysts, Alexander Pearson and Jason Bauman. How you guys doing today?
Happy Friday, everyone. Hope you were trading carefully yesterday.
I'm in a car. Can't hear you.
Yeah, that sounds fake.
Yep. Kind of reminiscent of yesterday, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Indeed, indeed. All right, so today we got a pretty exciting day lined up for everyone, although we are going to keep it casual. After all, it is a Friday. I hope everyone had a wonderful trading week and an overall good week altogether. It has been, I guess, coming off the Thanksgiving stretch, and here we are a week later. Time sure flies, doesn't it? I think Alex...
I think the best way to describe the markets is choppy. I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of up, but if you were over leveraged at all, then you probably got spanked numerous times this week.
Especially if you were involved in any kind of ETH long on Bybit. With that wick, I mean, without being probably 5x leverage, probably got anything over that probably got liquidated.
Yeah, another wild wick on the Ethereum or Bybit's Ethereum market. I remember we just had one last week, much like
it. The new one? I didn't hear about this.
Oh yeah, we did. I posted it into the chart and
yep.
Into the group, and I'm like, maybe this is a little precursor to because I did post it in the group. I do believe that we're forming an ascending triangle here on higher time frames for ETH. But if you look back on the 4 hour of ETH, and I can show this a little bit later, that big old scam wick on ETH was followed by a dump right back down to that level, and we just got another one of those. So whether that's indicative of another dump back down to these levels, it's certainly beginning to form an ascending triangle.
Wow.
Okay, well that's good.
Indeed, we'll have to take a look at the Bybit chart later just to show everybody how wild this wick was. It's gnarly. It was a good, I think, 20% wick down, something like that.
Let's see here.
Maybe 15-ish, 20-ish percent from what I remember.
Yep, about 20% wick on Ethereum.
Wild. So my condolences to anybody who got smoked again on Bybit.
You should definitely show Jason's chart. I think Jason's chart looks like fire here.
Yeah, I'll move over to that scene very shortly.
Which one are you looking at?
I think it's screen.
My chart? Yeah.
I'll put that up in 1 second. Hold on, because I haven't switched scenes yet. Before I get into the analysis, I was just going to do a little intro to shout everybody out before I put your screen on screen, boys. So I was just going to quickly point everybody to the crypto bubbles today, as you can see above here. Crypto bubbles, mostly a sea of red in the alt space. A couple outliers strike me here, including Nexo.
Made. Now there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. That's MadeSafe.
MadeSafe. Man,
I haven't heard that name since 2018. I'll take a look at that a little later. That's interesting.
Don't call it a comeback. Oh yeah, I actually, Theta was looking pretty strong. I was like, Alex might be a little upset about this because it didn't reverse the way you wanted it to yet.
Not yet. It hasn't reversed.
Well, that's what I'm saying yet.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think there's so many interesting things to look at right now. The market's moving. It's just unclear which way it's moving.
I think
moving around a lot. The market's in convulsions. I think that's a great descriptive term for it.
Indeed. Let's take a look here. Beyond that, yes, we have a few outliers, like I said, in the space. So we're going to take a look at some of these when we get into the altcoin analysis, including NEM, BSV, Waves, Vita, and Monero, and SC coin, Sia coin, seeing a bit of a 5% move today. Haven't heard of anything from happening on the Sia front. All these coins we may very well explore later in the show. I will bring everyone's attention down here. If you're new to the show, this is our rough schedule. The show does go approximately 1.5 to 2 hours. And in the first hour here, you can see we go from the intro to the majors like Bitcoin and Ethereum. We do cover alts, and we may even dive into a bit of Forex in the first hour. By hour 2, we will be firmly into the chart request section. So if you have any requests, any questions to our analysts, they will be happy to answer them. So please do leave your comments and chart requests in the live chat, and I will get to them as the show goes on. We will slowly knock those out. Finally, we will be getting into the news. We have at least one news item here on the screen, as you guys can see, and this is very promising comments from the office of the comptroller of the currency, Brian Brooks. Of course, this is someone we've covered at length on the show. This is a major government appointment to the regulatory body known as the OCC. And this is a gentleman who's very pro-crypto, I suppose. And we're going to cover some of his latest comments, such as we're very focused on not killing Bitcoin. says the OCC chief Brian Brooks. So we certainly will cover this because supposedly there is some very, very promising regulatory news, at least from the U.S. regulators, coming down supposedly this week, or at least by the end of Trump's term, they said. So in the next coming month or so, we very well might see something very good come out of regulators that very well might set the markets ablaze, maybe in a good way, of course. So that about covers the little wrap up for now, and I'm going to head into the next scene, which will in fact show us what Jason was pointing out. So let me head into the scene. Here we are. We are in the Discord scene now, but I will jump to Jason quickly because I think you were pointing to Jason. Here we go.
Yeah, just let me know when I'm
Jason,
up.
you're on screen. Do your thing.
All right. Well, I mean, looking at ETH here, after that scam wick of yesterday, I mean, people are calling it a scam wick, stuff like that. I'm just calling it that because people are calling it that. Whatever it is, it happened. It got sold off all the way back down here. But if you look on the 4-hour here, I do believe that we are beginning to show very good signs of an ascending triangle. If you look right here,
clearly the horizontal resistance at the top is there. Like maybe
yes,
not,
absolutely. Like
maybe not the bottoming pattern, but I mean the top's
not
at the
yet.
top.
For sure, yeah. That's why
Yeah.
it's not confirmed yet. But if this is any kind of sign of things to come, like it was last time, because the way I think about this, honestly, is if I had enough money, I would sell down to support and buy it back up, and then sell it back off again, just to go find where it is currently. I'm not saying that that's what's happening here, but it's just kind of how I think about it. But I mean, we are getting that 4-hour short signal here.
There's a bearish divergence on 4-hour time transformation.
Yep,
too.
we're going up here and down here, a little bit of bearish divergence. So over the weekend, I do think that, like, traditionally over the weekend we do tend to sell off. Like this was the exact same thing right before Thanksgiving, a little bit of a pump. We're dealing with the same thing right here, and then a sell-off. I do believe that over the weekend, if this plays out, we're likely to go range within this formation. But my mind kind of
information for another week. I mean,
yes, I do believe we'll come down here, tap this, and I believe that we'll fight underneath this for a little bit. We'll come back up and either have a breakout with throwback that comes back down, or a breakout with just pure rejection. That's what I don't know right now. This is kind of speculation for the time being. But if this ascending triangle does play out, roughly we're looking at a take profit of around. I mean, you're looking easily at 700 Ethereum before the crash, if this plays out traditionally.
Yeah, we can't see the future, but you know what? It's a plan, because right now the market's so choppy, it's kind of hard to tell which way for sure the market's going, especially if you've been on lower time frames. If you've been on lower time frames, it's probably been a really confusing week.
Does anyone know how to get out of the drawing tool so it won't select stuff anymore?
Yeah, select the crosshairs in the upper left-hand corner.
Right there. You go. Perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you. But yeah, looking at this, Bitcoin, on the other hand, is not as pretty as this, but that's one of the reasons why I like looking over markets that kind of run into contango with each other, because it's not always going to be the most beautiful chart. And it doesn't always have to follow the exact rules of the formation. But like right here, we do have what you would consider maybe a false breakout right here. You don't have those wicks quite the same way on Ethereum, but one could look at this range right here. That's why I do believe that 17.2 for a target over the weekend isn't ridiculous. I do think that we're going to sell off down to this, gain some support, and then whether we reject from there or get bought back up, I do think that we're going to range sideways here for maybe another 2 weeks, and then probably have that breakout, and then from there we'll really know. I mean, I do kind of expect the rejection from there, but I think we press over all-time highs and everyone gets real excited, and then we get dumped into.
I agree on sideways. I mean, sideways is
it makes the most sense right now.
Yeah, it's what I've been calling for a week or so. I was definitely surprised when we hit that new all-time high. I thought we'd be going so sideways that it might be a few days before we were able to do that. But you know,
and if you were listening yesterday on lower time frames, at the very end of the show, I was giving you guys my thoughts on what the current market looked like in lower time frames, and this candle right here was the candle that we ended on. And I told people, based off this rejection from 19.6, I did believe we're going to get what would be considered a head and shoulders pattern rejection. And boom, right here, rejection. And now we're just kind of waiting on the next signal. I do believe that my next signal is going to be to the downside. We are getting some backwardation here on the hourly, but historically, if you go look at, say, like this right here, you see that we do start getting backwardation, but then we get another sell-off, and then we go into premium before we start marching back up. But I think looking to the lows of this will probably be a good guiding factor on this weekend's price action. What do you think, Alex?
I would much rather play this to the downside than to the upside. There's more risk reward.
Yeah, especially like ETH. I really like this. I do think that this can be a kind of a little determiner of where the market might move. Of course, you'd have to go and back test that, but this is more of just my bias, and I'm hoping that a signal lines up with that bias, because I'm not going to take the position without actually getting a signal and just ride my gut.
That makes sense. Yeah, we don't really have a signal. We're not we will close the day below the baseline line on Bitcoin, but until that close happens, like we don't even really have a signal in any which direction. We're in a no trade zone on the daily baseline. And
my thing is, right now, I don't want to be caught. I do have a good 4-hour signal here, but I have another system that I have a better hit rate for on the 4-hour, so I am kind of waiting for that signal, which I do get the short, but all I need now is a rising explosion level, which, okay, 1, 2. Actually, I'm sorry, ETH did give me the full signal, but this is tested on BTC. My fault. So right now I do have a full signal on this, except for rising explosion level, which is keeping me out of it currently. And with this, I can play a 3-bar rule. So this candle and the next one that opens is my only time frame. So I am kind of hoping here for a little bit of a buyback and getting that rising explosion level, and then entering into that short, whether it gets
maybe a 4-hour baseline bounce.
Yes, that's kind of why I'm waiting on this, because I do because one of the things is the rising explosion level doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's rising to the downside. Like these. Like if you get a good baseline pullback, it might make that rising explosion level and it still completes all of the rest.
The explosion level is simply indicative of volatility.
Yes,
the
either
explosion
side.
level it's the Bollinger Band. So rising explosion level is an expanding Bollinger Band that says, hey, we've got enough volatility to probably take a trade here. If there's not enough volatility, then price doesn't move, and there's no way to make money off of that.
And I do think that's important to point out, because
a lot
of people think that, okay, like looking at just the candles instead of looking at the system, like, well, this just got bought all the way back up to here, I'm not going to short it now. But that's the signal that you're actually waiting for, because it just got bought back up and it's likely to dump back off.
That's an excellent point.
But yeah, like in the meantime here, sitting on Bitcoin, it's the exact same thing that I've been talking about for the last 3 days. I think we're going to start going sideways, and we have a lot more evidence of that now. So
could I take back over the screen?
Absolutely. Gonna jump over to Alex real quick, and Alex is now on the screen. Alex, tell us about your take on BTC.
Okay. Well, I feel like I'm coming at the market with slightly fresh eyes. I didn't really get to look at the market very much on Wednesday, and yesterday I drove 12 hours straight. I mean, you heard me, but it was rough, but it enabled me to make sure that I didn't miss any more time here with you guys. So I guess I'm not surprised that we're still in roughly the same position we were a couple of days ago. I marked this out for you guys in late November. I thought we were going to range within this area. It should have been a little wider, but nonetheless, here we are. I would say I expect us to continue to range in this area, perhaps make a new high, but probably not. I feel like this was probably our up thrust above distribution. And then hopefully we'll eventually get that pullback to 13K here. The market is not looking very strong here. Let's open up the daily baseline. I was talking about this earlier. So at the end of today, we'll close below the daily baseline, which is if you're following a hedging system, it's a time to hedge, and it's also a time where we can start looking for Bitcoin shorts. Whereas when above the baseline, if we're following PTP, we do not look for shorts; we look for longs. So most likely within the next day or so, if we close below this, we will get a daily Bitcoin short here. TT crossed under. Volatility will increase if we drop, that's for sure. And we're already getting a daily divergence here. On the weekly, closing anywhere below 18,500 this week is a bad sign. If we can close above 18.5, then there's a chance that just means more sideways ranging, and then the weekly trend will remain established and will continue upwards, kind of like what happened in this area right here, where we petered out, but the weekly trend was strong enough that there was just reaccumulation in the spot, and the trend continued onwards, broke 12K. Three-day trend. This was not really a new high. I mean, let's see. This had a close of 18,793. This open was 18,700. Yeah, there's like a $40 difference here on the 30-day chart. This is essentially still just one resistance level right here. I wouldn't consider that a necessarily a break of this high.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try and get a zoomed out view here of Ethereum. All right, so this area, resistance here, this is the resistance that we're facing right in this spot. If we can break this level, next big resistance is around 800 right up. But currently, it feels a little overextended here on the 3-day. Is this a confirmed 3-day signal, or did that already?
It looks like it's already confirmed and it's turning back up.
This could be a 3-day continuation signal for Ethereum.
How many days are left on that? 5
hours.
5 hours? Okay.
But a lot can happen in 5 hours. So I would keep, especially considering the looks of the daily. So I would keep my eye on the 3-day, guys. Yeah, the 3-day is going to help, inform what the weekly is going to look like, which is going to help us, get an idea of what to expect. I mean, it's difficult trying to make plans when the market's at a turning point of some sort. You have to take a look at things and kind of make plans for both directions. So if Ethereum pulls back, where could we expect to pull back to? I think looking at a 3-day chart here.
I'm really liking the 500 range.
You like the 500 range?
At least.
Like this. Yeah, there's clearly volume down in this area.
That's right where that wick went to on Ethereum.
Yeah, I would love a retest of the 3-day baseline here, and then of course $450 is the kind of untested previous swing high that we have over here on Ethereum. All right, so on the daily, Bitcoin dominance has kind of been trading sideways. A little bit of a breakout above this resistance level, as shown. If it closes like that today, it's a few hours left, but looks a little more clear on the 3-hour or on the 3-day here that Bitcoin could be re-establishing an uptrend in this spot. So, yeah, essentially, most likely Bitcoin dominance is going to come back up and retest this area. And then we'll find out if Bitcoin is going to break out against alts, or if alts are going to increase in value against Bitcoin. Right now, alts look pretty. I guess I'm going to turn off my baseline here weekly. Alts are looking kind of rough in this spot. Well, DeFi doesn't look too rough in this spot. Really depends on where we close the week. If we can close the week up here,
depends on if that support holds.
Sign.
Yeah.
If we close the week like down here or even down here, then that's going to be a little rough. Do we have a daily baseline yet here on DeFi Perp? Yeah, we do. Okay, right now we're above the daily baseline. Privacy coins above the daily baseline. But this is also bearish divergence that is definitely going to come through at the end of today right here. Most likely this will come down at least into this area. Sorry, I wish we had more data on these things. They're just such new products. Probably a Yeah, this line makes sense. This line makes sense on the daily. I think exchange coins look pretty weak in this spot. Let's look at BNB. I told you guys that I thought that this past week's wick was going to be counterfeited, and so far it has been. That's why we didn't really look too hard at this signal right here. This is really rough. If we break anywhere below this trend line, I would definitely be looking to short BNB down back into $17 range. I would imagine over time. This is a strong consolidation level. Price will want to return to here. Shitcoins are still under resistance on the weekly. We've been talking about this resistance level for a while now. Let's turn this off right here. Kind of pegged up into the liquidity of the high right here. Bam. Now we're hanging around resistance. Let's extend this over here. So at this point, I wouldn't be looking to long shitcoins until we got back above this level, because right now it's essentially saying that the entirety of the shitcoin market is hovering at resistance, and it could at least go either way. If not, we should be following the old adage: don't short support, don't long resistance.
All right, before we delve in any deeper, I was just going to take the opportunity to shout out a few people in the chat, if you guys are okay with that.
All right.
Let's just do this real quick. I see Johnny connected to the voice. Right on. All right, let me just fix a little something on screen here. Here we go. Gonna quickly go up to the top and welcome everybody who came in here early. I see Longbeard was one of the first in the chat. Shout outs to Longbeard. Longbeard asking about what we think about New Cipher. We will certainly take your New Cipher request and put on the list. We have Ron Legato in here. We got Victor Fryer in here saying hi everyone. Mr. Ether saying hoping for one more sideways, maybe slightly up week before continuation to new highs in my opinion. Yes, Mr. Ether has been perma-bullish in this zone. We got Khalid Hazimi in here saying hello, Jack. Hey, Mr. Khalid. Ron Legato. Andrew is in here. Andrew pointing out to Mr. Ether, I thought you were going to look for a gap, but I suppose that's still in an uptrend. Yeah, we could still fill the CME 17K gap, I think is where it is. And
I mean, that points right to where I'm thinking price will go.
And we will still, I think, keep the uptrend intact. So something to look out for. We will maybe dive into the CME chart a little later. Philip Carr, Manchester Mint, as always, in here. We got Robin Waldvogel. Mr. Robin, you're new here. Welcome. I haven't seen Robin here before, but it's nice to see you. T-Dub, Shadow Band. Nope, we're not Shadow Band, Mr. T-Dub. Philip Carr talking about the Palladium hammer sure leaves a nasty rash on return south. Okay, so appears Philip got smoked on Palladium. Robin asking for Ren, please, where to buy and hold. Yep, we will certainly get into Ren a little later. Robin, hang on, we do get to the requests later in the show. Last few comments, and we will get back to Alex, who's telling us currently about the mid caps, I think. But B-Flow is in here saying hola, Mr. B-Flow. Midwest, yes, Jason's in here, and I think I mentioned everybody. Hi, Jason. Boris Bitcoin, thoughts on the link USD short at day's end? Yes, Mr. Boris, we're gonna definitely dive into link very shortly.
Pretty bad, doesn't it, Boris? Yeah.
And
looking at that mid perp there, Alex, on a lower time frame, I think it was the daily. I do like that for a bullish pennant.
Before I let you guys take it away, I'm going to shout out Stun Gun.
Whether it completes or
there.
not, it does start. Like unless you get rejection, I think that's very strong.
Andrew says, last thing, I was just going to say, guys, careful on ETH Bybit chart. That wick is likely picking your indicators. Yeah, so if your indicators are picking up that wick, it may be throwing them off a little bit, says Andrew. Good point. And finally, one last comment I have highlighted here, and it's from Rob Donahue. Friday sell-off played out in most USDT pairs. Indeed, we had a bit of a Friday sell-off. USDTs are hurting, but I'm going to throw it back to Alex.
That's why I hope Bitcoin pairs come back up.
Get back to the live chat in a little later, but for now, Alex, mid caps. Let's do it.
Okay. So yeah, mid caps. I would say the interesting thing about mid caps is that we still have this broken downtrend. Like however you want to draw it, the downtrend is broken on this.
It's interesting that correlates with a lot of the signals that I've been putting out lately, and all. Yeah. It's been most of the mid sats that have been firing. So,
yeah, looking on the weekly, as long as we can close above this level here, that's super bullish to me, and then I'll stop feeling bearish about shitcoins in this level. Like once we get up here, that's going to look really good.
I think a weekly close of within that channel would confirm a bullish pennant on the daily.
Yeah. Exchange coins, that's not the case for me. I think exchange coins are extremely bearish.
That looks droopy.
Yeah. Mid caps, they've got a good chance. If we make a new high at all, game on. Game on for mid caps. As a matter of fact, we're not too far away from making a new high. Actually, we did make a new high, and now we're below that high.
Testing again. Good volume coming in, which is good.
Yeah, not too much bearish volume so far. I'm interested to see if we can stay up here at all. That's a sign to long mid caps. What would that look like? Let's open up mid caps. Let's do an old fashioned quickie run through.
Run it.
Daily Uniswap looks rough here. Looks kind of like a descending triangle to me. These tend to break down, but either way, this could give you a good signal in either direction. If we break up, probably end up here.
You're likely to get a wick down, because if you flip that, it would be the same as an ascending triangle. You usually get a wick down, and then it gets bought back up.
Yeah, we'll probably
like a false breakout.
We'll probably hit this area and then come up here.
Yeah, that's what I would foresee happening there.
Okay. I hear you. That makes sense. So we may get a scam wick up in this area.
Yep.
And then come on back down. Rune looks pretty good in this spot. We're getting some nice volume in here. and we're at the top of the trading range right now, but man, doesn't that look like an inverse head and shoulders? Looks like a complex head and shoulders bottom to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty interesting here on Rune Bitcoin. We'll put that on the watch list. We'll take a look at that later today, you and me. There we go. We'll just kind of draw it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Synthetics not looking bad here at all. So, yeah, basically after it's already tested its lows here as far as I mean, that's what this wick is on the daily. So, Synthetics may be ready to take off in this spot. Let's see if it's got a daily baseline. Synthetics is also a DeFi coin, guys, but it's also a mid-sat coin. You know, it's like
This is a perfect example of how I believe Bitcoin and Ethereum will play out, because you can draw the exact same pattern here on the top of those two, which it just rejected. Go to the top of the range.
What,
The
right
current, nope, of the yes, right there. Draw a line.
here?
Just
Where
all, just all H, yeah. And then draw a trend line from the right where it reverses, where you get the first 3 white soldiers. Nope, but then bring that line up to where it rejected. Right there. Okay, so now I believe that's exactly what it's going to look like. We're going to drop below the trend line and then slowly crawl back up it and then break out.
So, all right. So we were. What were we just looking at? So it was Ethereum.
Yeah, Ethereum and Bitcoin.
All right. So yeah. So this is what he's saying. This is the exact reverse situation of what we were talking about.
Well, no.
I mean,
No,
it's
no,
ascending versus descending. But
no, inverse it, because it is the same.
no, it's inverse now.
Yes, it's inverse now. That's what I'm saying. Push Alt I, and it'll look the exact same as what I think will happen with Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think we drop out of the ascending triangle range, and then we slowly climb back up the. Like we ride that trend line up and break to the upside.
All right. At the end of today, it looks like we might be getting a PTP signal on synthetics. We're going to be above the baseline. Fish is going to be crossed up, and we're going to be above zero. Both good signs, and we'll have the volatility on WADA.
That's looking pretty strong.
Yeah, that's a watch list. Swipe looks rough. Seems as if we've broken support.
Same as yesterday.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in this. It's hanging around its lows. It could be good to take long, or it could break low, or just like Swipe did. I'm not interested without a signal here.
Mm-hmm.
Same story for WRX. Block stacks below the baseline. I'd say this is a short signal. If we can take this short, let's take this one short. Is this on margin?
I don't know. I wish it had a little symbol next to it on the ticker where if I knew
it really should. I mean, I've got this Binance margin section. Hold on. Is stacks in here? It's probably not. I don't think so.
Nope.
Okay. Well, guys, if you can find a place to short this, maybe you can. There are ways to short things now that we have borrowing markets. Anyway, you know, if you go to Aave or one of the other lending markets, you can borrow ERC20 tokens and then sell it on the open market, and then buy it back later on when it's cheaper, and then return it. So like you can do a literal short, like the old style.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something to consider for those of you who are really interested in shorting a particular altcoin, but find that Binance margin or FTX or whatever don't have a way for you to short it. It's like, well, you can spot short it. You can borrow that.
You can always get creative.
Sell it on the market and then buy it back later on when it's cheaper. That's shorting. It's the original going short. Okay, guys. Let's continue looking at mid caps. We'll glance over them real quick. not going fast enough. So many mid-caps. Algo got some fantastic news. I think this chart looks really good. We don't have the volatility yet. We're still kind of at resistance, but
Yeah, they had quite a day yesterday.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Nothing there yet for OGN, but this will probably break upwards. For Hive, I see a descending broadening wedge here. No, it's just a channel. Never mind. Either way, doesn't look fantastic. No signal yet here for Tomo. Beam looks ready to make a new low. I wouldn't want to pick it up here. Sol Bitcoin is sneaking under the daily baseline here. This could be a short signal for Sol soon. It's a DeFi coin too. Kava just kind of trading sideways.
So based on the signals that I put out yesterday, it seems like mostly all of them are experiencing a baseline pullback right now. So I'll have to wait till close, but it seems to be pretty market wide.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't necessarily want to short Kava in this spot, but I wouldn't want to long it either.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, there's just nothing to really do in this spot right now. Band looks a little interesting here. Did we get a baseline mouse trade out of Band right here?
Band was on my list yesterday, but it didn't quite meet all of the parameters at the end of the day. Someone brought that up on the stream yesterday.
It could be a good band trade soon, guys.
Mm-hmm.
It looks about ready to break above the 3-day baseline here.
You really want to see some momentum come in there, though.
Yeah. But Band looks interesting. Band did not have a pump like Link did. Link pumped up to resistance. Band hasn't done that. Band's resistance is up here, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So let's put this on the list. I like this trade. I don't like that trade. FTT feels like it's going to come back down and retest this area. I don't really want to touch this except to short it. Yeah. Daily looks rough too. I'd want to take that. Retest the support.
At least, yeah.
Zen, oof. That's definitely get out. No real signal here. No signal. But could be one soon. I think this needs to retest its lows. No signal yet. No signal on Atom. No signal on GVT. This looks like it wants to retest its lows, but we don't have a signal either way on Qtum. Gas is getting some volume. This looks interesting. This looks like it may want to run up to here. But right now we don't have a signal yet.
Yeah,
There's no volatility.
we made about 6% on that the other day.
I will say there's a signal on waves at the end of today. This is definitely
Waves
a
coming
break
in
in the
with some-
downtrend.
Yep, waves coming in with some momentum.
Yep, baseline bounce. I like waves. We've got the volatility. Put this one up. Walton chain. Yeah, it looks like a dog crap. This is like a lot of wicks up into... Like, this is resistance right here. This is all resistance levels, so... I don't know. This is not a bad daily signal. If we end the day up here, if it's not just a wick, then that's a great signal. But if it's just a wick, then that's ugly, and I don't want to be in it. So
Yeah.
It's really going to depend on what price looks like after we get this this close up here. We may, if we invoke the, we're not even above the dead zone here with WADA.
Yeah.
So we're not
There's
really there yet. There's not
There's
enough
better
momentum.
stuff out there.
Yeah. Lisk is doing that thing. Several other ones were doing.
Currently in a list trade right now. Had a baseline pullback that's closed above the 13 EMA. Currently right now, I do believe that we're sitting just barely under it. So we'll have to assess that at the end of the day. But might be exiting out some positions at small losses.
Okay. Sky, slap in the face. This is definitely retesting its lows right there. Very strong point of control. Nano, retesting this consolidation area right here. It's gotta. You can tell. It wants to hug up on that area.
It's just gotta.
Yeah, it's just gotta. Doing that thing. It's testing its lows. Sorry, guys. This is not uninteresting.
Getting that TT crossover with rising momentum.
Yeah, this is not bad. I would love to see just like a stronger candle. But if we peak up like this a couple more candles and this stays curled, this might be a signal. Nothing yet. Doing that thing. There's just nothing to really recommend this to us yet. You know, there's not enough strong volume. Mm-hmm. It looks like someone. It looks maybe a whale like picked it up and then they got slapped in the face.
And then put it down.
Yeah. Well, you know, we may pass 3-day baseline soon on Nebulous. This is not terrible. This has formed a point of control. It feels like near a bottom. Do you see how all this volume is dumped down here? Like this is buying in this spot.
Yeah, might be worth taking a shot at that one.
It's all buying. I would imagine we'll retest 220 sats up in this area. This is not a bad reversal long to take, I think, in this spot. We're going to get a daily signal at the end of today. I don't dislike this. You can see all the volume that's already been like bought up into this area. Price is probably going to want to go back to this area again. Link Bitcoin. Oh, this is what
I was talking about with Link. I do think that there may be a shorting opportunity coming up on Link.
What did I tell you guys about this resistance level right here? I told you. You never listened to me. Here we are now. Link this week is going to break its weekly trend. So I imagine there will be a lot of panic selling on Link. There's a lot of people that bought this area.
I don't last scam wick on Link.
I don't expect this to like wander around here. It's going to be like slap.
I think the last scam wick on Link USDT happened on Binance and it got sold down to like a penny. Some dude like woke up with like $6 million.
It's like, what did the five fingers say to the face, guys? That's right. That's what's happening to Link.
Don't let him come in.
I will say, interestingly, selling volume is falling in this spot on the 3-day if you look at it. That is one potentially bullish sign. We should see sellers leaning into this. Like I said,
but you also see volatility rising, and that like you have to wait for that to complete, of course. Yeah. But like volatility is rising.
You're not wrong. I'm just cautioning people. As sure as I am that Link is breaking down, there's evidence to the contrary. I don't want you to necessarily. You don't have to take my word as law here.
I mean, that's why we position size here, because if it was a sure thing, we wouldn't have to. The whole point of it is to just get an edge, and we're just seeing different evidence.
There's no such thing as a sure thing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Bitcoin Diamond, it's like trash, as always. Populous. Point of control is interesting in this spot, but there's not enough volume. It's not interesting. MDA. Below the 3-day baseline here. This looks like it might get continued.
Quite the pump and dump.
Daily. Interesting, I guess.
I still don't like it. I don't like that untapped. I think you're still going to test the bottom of that range again.
Okay, yeah.
I wouldn't look to pick that up. That's definitely catching a knife.
BNT, depending on how you want to draw it, is maybe broken out of its downtrend. I mean, I've had the downtrend drawn variously like this,
I would keep it like that.
like this.
Nope. Right? Like that. Because I think realistically that's it. Just because things break above and get sold back into does not mean that's part of the trend in my mind. So you're having evidence of it breaking back out here now, and whether that holds remains to be seen. But if it does, then you have your actual breakout.
Okay. All right.
That's just the way I look at it.
Okay.
Look at it.
I think it also makes sense in a way because we've broken above the 3-day baseline here. And this is more like almost like a daily baseline bounce. It's not bad. If you did take BNT, I'd probably want to take it up into this area right here.
There is potential. Yeah, look at that big old point of control up there, though.
That feels like it's filled.
Does it? I mean,
yeah. The pointier a point of control is, the more likely it is that it's like filled and doesn't need to be touched again. Like when they're rounded out like this, that's when it still like tends to be a complete order block that needs filling. I know it sounds like voodoo, guys, but I swear, you watch the VPVR often enough.
No, I totally get what you mean. Like there's certain indicators and chart patterns and stuff that as soon as I see it, my mind just goes different places. Like just doing this long enough, you're going to start picking up little things like that.
Yeah. Null's had a fantastic alt season, but even in this spot, I'm not really sure it's necessarily time to pick this up. This is a similar situation where it's forming a point of control near the lows, and it could be bottoming behavior.
Nice head and shoulders there.
Yeah, but we don't have a full signal yet. So it's something to keep our eyes on. AVX, nothing there yet for us. We don't have any reversal signals. Pivx probably retesting its lows. ARC
is one I am currently in. I hope that we get a little bit bought back up by the end of the day. Otherwise, probably looking to exit that one.
Yeah, TT is saying it's almost time to exit. RLC still inside of this larger pattern. I wish I had not bought my RLC back here, but I did. So
AE was looking good. Yep.
Are we in this? No.
It was on my list, but I did not call it just because water was not completely there for me at the time of the signal.
Yeah, that's okay. We
just
only
not
broke
my trade.
Resistance today. I think it's a signal starting today. That's I would consider it one. We'll be getting a TC signal. Another. This looks pretty good for eternity. So, what's what that look like? It's not a bad trade. We'll see what the daily close looks like, but stopping everything makes sense. All right. Well, actually, I wanna be cautious about putting on too many Bitcoin pairing trades when Bitcoin
definitely over the weekend
sideways or down. We could end up losing USDT or USD value on our accounts if we're in a Bitcoin paired trade when Bitcoin is losing value. So it's something to keep our eyes on. We might end up sticking to USDT only trades, and in that case, that might really prevent us from the amount of trades that we can take. But it's going to be safer. So ultimately, that's the best way, I think. I kind of want to turn it over for a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been going a little while, and I've been meaning to get into the comments a little bit. I want to review a few people's opinions in here. Let's see. In the meantime, you want me to leave it on Alex's screen? Or Jason, do you want me to pull up your screen?
It's whatever you guys want to do. I'm down for whatever.
I'm going to pull up Jason for a little bit so Alex can get away from the screen for a little bit. Here we go. We got Jason.
A little bit of visual change for the audience.
Totally. And in the meantime, I'm going to scroll through the comments real quick. And I do have a series of requests already lined up, everybody. So I am keeping track of all of them. Do let me know if you have any other requests to add to the list. But be assured, I have actually recorded every last one today. Shouldn't have missed anything. So we should be good there. Let me see. In terms of comments, not too much today. Mostly requests, which again I have logged. But I just want to see here. T-Dub says he's got his Ethereum buy set at $483, so a little lower than your 500.
All right.
Hope you catch it.
Good,
Yeah,
good
but
one.
that's still right around that swing high. I think that's a great location. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So T-Dub, best of luck. I hope that gets filled. Maybe inspire me to leverage some Ethereum long. Maybe once we get down to that spot. Moblin says he likes the music. Goblin, appreciate that. Yes, we do have the jazz playlist running for the first hour, everyone, but we are almost approaching the second hour, so I will switch up the audio to something a little more upbeat for hour 2, just so everybody gets their music palette properly covered. Let's see. Robin Waldvogel is actually Rob Dirty on Discord. Yep, I remember Rob Dirty, right on. I had a feeling when I saw this new name that it actually wasn't a new member or a new user in the live chat. It's actually just Rob Dirty with another account because he's not on DLive right now. Or, yeah, something to that effect. I see Scott here in the live chat. He's also a premium... I always forget what to describe this as. Supporter. This is a channel supporter. He's got the channel supporter status. So much love to Mustache in the live chat.
Anybody else who has multiple accounts is welcome to come and like our video multiple times.
Yeah, smash that like button. And David Rice showed up in the live chat. Hello, David. Nice to see you again. I'm assuming you got the notification late, but you are in here after all. Daniel with the cool Ferrari avatar is in the live chat again. How's Ncash doing today? Or Nice Hash? Whatever. We'll get into Daniel's request later. David Rice saying dollar cost average all day long. Indeed, DCA is a solid strategy. That's why my portfolio looks the way it
Never
does.
fails.
Okay, I think I kind of covered some of the questions. I see a little discussion here about the CME gap, so I do have that listed as one of the things I want to dive into for the next part. But we're kind of caught up on the comments. Robert Ether says, yes, I still get both of those, but not the YouTube, and we are only one of all the ones that I sub to that don't work. Yeah, you know what, guys? I think we've definitely we're being blacklisted to some degree by YouTube, and even when the show isn't fully shadow banned and we're fully compliant, it doesn't seem like we get maximum traction any longer with YouTube. Yep. So something that we're keeping in mind and potentially going to address down the road. Our channel might need a refresh, but I digress. Let's move along into what do you guys want to cover next? Do you want to do any forex or anything? Maybe Jason, you want to pull up the CME gap? Let's talk CME gap for a minute.
I got the CME gap currently open. And to be honest with you, this CME gap coincides a lot with this ascending triangle pattern that I think we're going to get. I think we're going to at least get the gap fill. And whether this support holds or not, that's what we're going to have to wait to see over the weekend. But I really do feel like this is going to be your false breakout right here. Rejection, which this is where we were yesterday. And then we're going to come back down here to test these lows. And then I think we're going to go choppy side by side up until we go here. And then we'll get the throwback. But as for gap fills, I really do think this plays well into the theory of the ascending triangle this weekend. We've seen plenty of ascending triangles work out just like this, and most people, as soon as it hits here, they believe that the pattern's broken. But as long as it doesn't break these lows, I think that it's still a good pattern, and you usually see it just march up on the underside of this trend line before it breaks. I mean, in terms of this, I mean, do you like this as well, Alex? I think that this gap is going to get filled this weekend.
Oh, the gap is definitely going to be filled. I know there's a lot of CME gaps that haven't been filled, but the one around 17K.
This is a big one. Yeah, this is a big gap. And usually these things do. To be honest with you, I thought this would have filled itself quicker than it did. I'm glad I wasn't really paying too much attention to it, but I'm glad I'm noticing it now because this plays right into the theory that I currently have. So looking at the CME gap, I that's just why I like the number 17.2, and that's being conservative. I mean, if you're going to take this to the bottom of the range, you're more looking at like 16.7, 16.6 is a possibility for prices to hit over the weekend. But yeah, I do think that this CME gap is relevant here. Let's just put it. So anywhere within this range here from, what do we got?
How low does that go? I might have to put some limit orders in this weekend before I punch out.
Realistically, 17,000. Like I said, if it's going to go to even the lows, then you're even looking at like 16.7, 16.6, 16.7, all the way through a low of 18,275. So, I mean, it's a range for sure. And I mean, look at historically over the weekend, we push up, and everyone took profit and bought back up by Monday, push up, and bleed off in the weekend. I think that we're just going to keep ranging this way until
it might
we
be
finally
great.
get that pop.
Great spot to pick up some limit orders. I love it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think the CME gap, I don't usually play them that often, but looking at this, I think this is one of those times that I think it's actually relevant.
I got one follow-up question here, and this is from Rob and Pau Donahue, and the question goes like this. Pasted in here. The CME gap needs to be filled intra-week, correct? Question mark.
What do you mean? Like intra-week. Like you're saying there has to be another week before it gets filled? That doesn't. No, it can be filled at any time. It's just historically gaps do get filled sooner than later. I don't think you could really put a time on it. They tend to get filled. I mean, It could, if you, I mean, did Ethereum have one?
Yeah, not entirely sure what they mean by the intra-week, and the CME gaps in general don't need to fill anything, right? This is just like a
it's not an absolute at all.
Yeah, this is just a phenomena that seems to kind of reoccur on a frequent basis, and a lot of people seem to cite and look for them. Mm-hmm. It's not a hard and fast rule, but it just seemingly seems to happen that way. And maybe if you plan a trade around it, you might end up looking pretty smart, but by no means does it have to be filled. I'm sure there's still quite a few mega bulls in our community who just want to see us rip roar from here. I feel a little bit like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at on the 24 hour on the daily, guys. Like that's a big gap. I really do believe that's gonna get filled sooner than later. You don't usually see gaps on the daily.
I think Ron Legato just cleared up what they meant by intra-week, and that's the fact that the CME isn't open on the weekends. So yeah, the gap.
Yes, you're right. I guess. Or alternately, we could fall down there during the week, and then we're down in that area when we open, and then it just naturally gets filled that way. So that doesn't mean that.
It doesn't mean you can't sell off price.
Yeah. But I mean, that's a good point. That the CME gap will not get visually filled on a weekend because CME isn't trading on a weekend. That's how CME gaps happen.
Indeed.
But yes, gaps. If that changes the question at all, gaps can be filled on the weekends. So.
Indeed. Mr. Ether says Ethereum gaps are not a thing, however. Okay. Well, I suppose not, being that there isn't much of a CME market for Ethereum. Ron Legato, mentioned CME isn't open, and I am pleased to announce Profit Bear, one of our most illustrious.
He's been around for a while.
One of the most illustrious people in the live chat and regular viewers. Well, he just joined our channel. He's now officially a supporter of the Kraken Crypto YouTube channel. So shout outs to Profit Bear for your latest membership and your cool new special green status in the live chat. Shout outs to Profit Bear, much love. Thank you so much for your support, and to everybody else who does, of course, support us, whether it's just hitting the like button or being here on a regular basis. You know, you guys, I'm sure, know by now you're extremely well loved and appreciated for all you guys do for us. So it's Our pleasure to serve you. But what do we got next? What's on the list here? So should we what do we want to move into? It's hour 2. So this is where we kind of kick off the requests. So I'm gonna start moving into requests. I'm gonna do a little playlist change before I do so. We are now music changed. Okay, brilliant. Moving into the first request on the list. Who is our lucky first contestant on Cracking Crypto's Breaking Bitcoin?
It's gotta be the most amount of purple dots of
New guess on the price is always right, no matter what you thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm. It's going up. It's going down.
I know, maybe we need to do like a bit of a Price is Right spoof. You know, we need to do like a live show where we do a Price is Right episode with all, coins and like, what's Link trading at right now? What would you put Link at, boys? And, everybody puts their bids in or something. I don't know.
There's gonna be way too many cheaters, man.
I'm in another Discord server where they have a monthly Bitcoin price prediction contest, and it runs by, and yeah, it's not Price is Right rules. You can't be like just under. It's like whoever's closest.
$2.75, Bob.
Yeah, $1. Nope, Alex got it right. It was $1. Was one close to
Everyone else overbid, so Alex wins.
Boo! He $1'd it.
Okay, so first request of the request season, and this one coming from Longbeard. And what do you guys think of New Cipher? I don't know if this is specifically just a chart request or general.
I believe this is something that just came out. I saw someone posting about it in the Discord. I hadn't had a chance to look at it, but if you look, it's only been listed for 3 days on Coinbase and doing very well.
Well, I looked at it on Uniswap, and
she's up about 170% currently.
Yep, it's up about 3x from earlier, from last month.
Mm-hmm.
This could run.
It could. This Coinbase listing could be the catalyst it needs. But as for saying whether that's a good idea or not, I can't really give you that. If you know something about the project, if you're invested into it, or I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole, but it could go.
Currently a $90 million USD market cap. I see that it trades on Coinbase Pro. It's on
Uniswap. $90 million market cap? Oh, never mind. I thought this was like a low cap or something like that. That's basically
it's a $90 million
mid-cap coin now.
Yeah.
Even though it's a few days old.
And if you want to know a little bit about New Cipher, it's a decentralized threshold cryptography platform, provides data privacy, access control, and other cryptographic services to decentralized application and protocols.
I have no idea what threshold whatever is.
Threshold cryptography platform. I'm guessing it's going to be maybe like a multi-sig kind of architecture where you meet a threshold of signatures for certain operations, so you don't need to have like a complete 10 out of 10. Maybe you don't need to hit 10 out of 10 conditions. Maybe there's like a threshold condition. That's my initial impression of what they mean by that. So it may be just, in other words, a very flexible platform, being that it deals with access control. That might have to do something with flexible access and signing. But the network currently supports threshold proxy re-encryption, extendable to other threshold cryptographic primitives like threshold exactly what I was saying. Yeah, threshold type signature, distributed key generation, Shamir secrets sharing, and proxy re-signing. So it seems very much of a data privacy oriented crypto project. Let's see here. Staking runs the New Cipher worker node. Proper behavior indeed. Participating in the New Cipher DAO, which controls network parameters. So it is a bit of a DAO. So you do have governance rights with this token, I presume. Let's see here. They have a GitHub, and what is the circulating supply? It has currently total supply 1 billion new tokens. Max supply of 4 billion almost. So about a quarter of the supply is out there, 90 million cap. New coin I haven't even so much heard of, but thank you to Longbeard for tipping us off. And I'm not sure how much chart analysis we can do with something this new, but what do you think, Jason?
I mean, to be honest with you, just looking at this on the hourly, just lower time frame on what I would think. To be honest with you, I really do think this looks ripe for continuation on the hourly. You're building a nice channel here with support. I think that this is going to press to the upside again. But that's completely
And who would have thought the Coinbase effect actually works once in a while?
oh, when it works, it works. But
No,
yeah, there's
when it clicks on Coinbase, it pumps and then dumps. It doesn't just dump like it did during the alt season. Or excuse me, bear season. Bear market.
I'll come back to this later in the day and see if this plays out the way I thought. But what's next on the list?
Indeed. All right. Thank you, Mr. Longbeard. We covered that one. Moving along to the next request. I have one here from Philip Carr. More comment than request, but potentially something I want to look at. And Philip says, the Palladium hammer sure leaves a nasty skin rash on return south. So I think Philip, I do recall he's been hammering the Palladium hammer on the live chat for the last week or so. Apparently he might have got smoked. Can we pull up Palladium real quick? I'm just curious what happened to
I think that's me. You want me to do the CFD?
Sure.
Yeah,
I'll swap.
Yeah, we could run just through all of the metals real quick.
Okay, let's do that. That's a good idea. Let's go through the metals. Alex, and quickly jump into your scene. So Alex, I've got you on screen.
Oh my gosh, Philly! I hope you weren't long. Oh, yesterday was a nightmare.
You poor bastard.
Oh, that's what he means by getting smacked down.
Yeah, that looks like it just became a short. I would short this at the end of. I would consider shorting this at the end of today. It looks like.
You rarely see metals act that way.
Oh,
that's
It looked so good on the 3-day. I remember talking about it. We had liftoff and everything. It's not true that we rarely see metals acting that way. Actually, precious metals are especially fucky because Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs, all of them have been fined over and over and over again by the SEC for manipulating the precious metals markets. But it's always just a slap in the wrist compared to the amount of money that they made, and almost no one ever goes to jail. So I guess it's not surprising. It looks like a fantastic short from this spot. We got a 3-day bounce short now. We'll be getting a cross under at the end of today on this. So I would consider getting into a Palladium short at this point and maybe taking it either down to 2150 or maybe even back down to the $2,000 range back here, this consolidation area. I mean, if you visually, this reminds me just a little bit of Bitcoin's bottom. Make bottom, come back down, and then take off. So maybe we'll wick hard down into this area, guys, then continue onwards. A little reminiscent of Bitcoin's chart, but it's I don't expect it to play out exactly like that or anything. I just want to give you guys like a visual of how it may play out. That was very, very hard momentum right here. Wow, what a sell-off! This is how big a movement is this?
That's what I'm saying. Like the wick, you don't usually see wicks like that. Like
10% loss on Palladium. Was there big news
on a big asset class? I mean, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, Philly, if you're listening, be sure to leave a comment. Let us know what you think happened to Palladium that got it smoked this bad. I'm assuming Manchester Mint has got the lowdown on the PM markets.
Okay, well, sorry. I guess I'm not as good at pulling up Palladium news as I thought.
Get better at Palladium news, man.
Yeah.
T-Dub says, big money is playing those metals charts hella bad. Silver is being held down too. So according to T-Dub, silver's getting smoked.
Palladium 1 initiates phase 2 drilling program. Maybe it's because it's got... No, but that's from last month. I don't know, guys. I have no idea why the market did that. I guess that's not really why I'm here to tell you why the markets do what they do anyway. Just to kind of try and figure out what
Make sense of what it's going to do.
Yeah. Who knows? It's definitely fucky, guys. So, wow. I see why you had us look at that. Wow, what a change. Gold, nice recovery
Nice
from its lows here, but this looks kind of like a retest of.
You're definitely coming up on old resistance. I mean, support becoming resistance.
I expect gold to. You see, this momentum is kind of petered out here as it's approached the daily baseline. I expect to pull back probably to the 1800s here on gold. Silver, it's held on really valiantly to the 24-25 range. Like right around here is a very strong point of control. Has not broken down like gold. I really like this 3-day divergence that we're forming right here. So this is these are equivalent lows, but on our oscillator we have a higher low right here. So you can draw this like this, and you'll see what I mean. So this is nice. We can easily take this, I think, up to a 26-27, maybe a retest of this point of control in this spot right here. And platinum has been doing very well ever since we broke this trend line and came above this point of control, this point of control in the daily baseline. Right now, looking a little topped out today. This is probably, I mean, we've broken a 4-year long trend here. So this resistance level is held for 4 years. I would try and get a retest and then take platinum for continuation. I don't see why platinum would need to pull back here or anything like that. We've consolidated in this area for 4 years. So I know Philly's been Philly's been talking a lot about platinum, but until recently, platinum hasn't had the breakout that silver did, that gold did, even that palladium had, just a huge recovery this year. And then of course copper has had quite a run. It's gone parabolic, as you guys know. We mentioned that before, kind of targeting up into 375 for even the non-precious metals. So it's very interesting. I guess this is really a sign of true inflation, guys. Hard assets, their prices are going up. Even oil, natural gas, they're going up right now. It is winter. I'm surprised natural gas is breaking down here. This actually looks like natural gas is going to get a bigger pullback. Oof. Missed a good baseline bounce here in this spot. I would try and catch a return up to this resistance right here. Gonna pull back up here. Continuation downwards here on natural gas. Soybeans. I tell you, getting out here was a mistake. We should have stayed in soybeans. We gained a whole nother like 10% here on soybeans. But what happened. We've broken down below the daily baseline. We could get a bigger pullback on soybeans here. We do have 3 tops on our Fisher, which is usually a sign of for those of you Elliott wave followers, a completed wave pattern, but we don't have a firm sign yet. Sugar is about to cross below the 3-day baseline. This is starting to look like a solid short here. WTI, firm continuation at the end of today. I would want to take that. We don't have enough volatility, but you don't really need it for a continuation long necessarily. Wheat, short. This is good for, I would take it at least down in this area right here. So this is a firm, solid short. Aussie economy continuing. Chinese economy continuing. European economy looks like it's going to make new highs next week. Same with France. Hong Kong. Still under the thumb of China, so still kind of trading sideways overall. But it could get a breakout here. India looks like it's going parabolic. Japan has gone parabolic, kind of trading sideways last few days, but could have a solid continuation here. Netherlands, economic continuation. Singapore, continuation. Taiwan, continuation. New highs today. Very strong. Very, very strong. Look at that. UK economy even. New high today. But it's only breaking the swing high. It's got a long ways to go before it's over the Brexit stuff. Oh, no, I'm sorry. These are the bonds. These are bonds. These are UK British pound bonds. No, this is the UK 100. This is the bond. Okay. All right, good. I was not talking out of my butt.
I'm gonna cut in real quick here, just because I want to get into a couple comments that were relevant to your palladium analysis. Philip says, great summary on liquidity dynamics there, Jack. Well, I think he meant Alex, because it was Alex talking mostly about the liquidity dynamics, but yes, thank you, Philip. I'm sure Alex appreciates that. Boris Bitcoin, gold was a good scalp long if you took the TT buy signal a couple days ago. Andrew, damn, Alex, can you school us more on the VPVR? I've been eyeing the longer point of controls for a while. Yeah, I've got that question queued up, Andrew, so once we get through this segment, I'm sure we can get Alex to tell you a little more about VPVR. Philip Carr says he missed that and went back into catching a knife and lost my weekend spends is all. Yes, so he missed that. He went in to catch the knife and got smoked anyway. And his weekend play money is now gone. Well, my condolences, Philip. If you're high and dry,
make it back.
If you're high and dry this weekend, I'll forward you a few bucks USDT. Get yourself a pint on me, Philip. Cry, your sorrows. You can drown at the local pub, Philly. And if you're broke, I mean, I can spot you a pint.
He'll just take his dogs to the dog park and brush it off. He'll be fine.
The Jays were black says capital flows more than likely not in inflation. So he's talking about people think in terms of memes. The meme is inflation. Money printers go burr. All that. Therefore, capital flows. So he's talking about all this capital flow, especially in the context of an environment where inflation is running rampant, or these money printers go burr. Which I'm kind of I'm a bit from the modern monetary theme, so I'm not necessarily sure if all this printing really does translate into inflation anytime soon. But yes, thank you for your comment, Philip Carr. Yes, Alex, I thought after the move Palladium would rally and got stopped out looking at a 15-minute candle. Yeah, catching a knife, trying to catch a reversal 15 minutes, and you end up getting burned. Philip also says long rally from Palladium and UK has advanced phasing out of diesel engines impacting physical orders next week, use of Palladium. Okay, I see. So what he is at least surmising here is that and I think you guys heard about this, right? The UK, and I don't know if this is the EU at large. They announced that they're going to phase out diesel, right? Was it the diesel would be phased out? But I think I heard something about gas engines in general. And so I guess Palladium being one of the biggest components, one of the most important components inside catalytic converters, if they are going to go into electrics, yes, I can see the demand for Palladium on the industrial level suddenly getting chopped. So
that would make a lot of sense.
Maybe that's what it was. But thank you, Philip, for enlightening us as to what's going on in the Palladium markets. Gold does look like a knife edge, says Philip. Platinum is poising long. Weekend profit taking happening. Watch this commodity capital being attractive to said crypto for the weekend markets. He says he's got loads of copper in stock in the factory here next to me just now. So Philip took a big order of copper. And all right, Mr. Philip, thank you for giving us the inside
You
track.
stripped someone's house of their copper, didn't you, Philly?
He's in there looking for pipes.
Yeah, you did it.
What a looter. But next, okay, so I covered all that. Alex, I think you wanted to continue along your analysis, or should I throw you?
I feel like I was just starting to get the groove of the large world markets. I'm starting to feel the muse overtaking me. Ready?
Oh, one last comment. Sorry to interrupt one last
Okay.
time. Damien Hughes says, "Damn it, no CC notification today." Yeah, a lot of people mentioned that today, and I will also add that I just checked and we're shadow banned. I don't know when that happened. Happened during the course of the show. 'Cause
Damn.
we launched okay, but now we are completely shadow banned. Hence why the numbers have kind of fallen off. And
Maybe it was when I told everybody to like us with multiple accounts.
Oh yeah.
maybe. I'm not sure if the YouTube transcription algorithm is that sophisticated, but it is what it is, guys. We will be maybe discussing how we can address some of
watching.
these issues, but so what can we do? Best we can do is fall back on our wonderful community to smash the likes twice as hard if you can. Show YouTube we're not having it. But with that said,
Fight the man by liking us and subscribing.
all right.
That's how you can fight the man.
My man Alex is now back in charge of the stream, so do your thing.
This is the NASDAQ CFD. We'll look at that when we look at the broader markets. This is the Russell 2000. Huge day. It looks like it's going to be big continuation for Russell 2000. Small caps, if you're in them, stay in them. S&P 500, new highs today. Fresh continuation. This is what Justin considers, sidling up to resistance on low volatility right here. This is going to burst. S&P 500 is going to make new highs here. Bonds, 30-year, making some lows here. New lows since beginning of the year. Financial stocks looking to make new highs soon. Deutsche Bund down. Corn, it's been marching up this month, but down today. Okay, so that's the commodities and broader market CFDs. Let's look at the currency indices. Oh, dollar in free fall right now.
That's what I remember bringing this up on stream. I'm like, I would like to take it down to the bottom of that range, the further over. And they're like, some people are like, I don't think it's gonna go that low. I'm like, I do.
Yeah. At this point, the dollar looks a little oversold. I expect probably next week the dollar to get some relief. Just as people kind of try and catch the knife. Big entities much bigger than us are going to try and catch this knife because it's been a large multi-day fall here. So,
and that kind of correlates back to what we were talking about again with the CME gap and stuff, because this over the weekend won't be trading either, but it could not gap up, but like be bought on a big candle on close. I mean on open of the on Monday.
Yeah. So as we see, there's support and resistance in this spot, and this is right where we are. So that looks pretty good to me. So I do like this for a lower time frame reversal, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's time to rush back into the dollar. The Swissy, as I told you guys last week, has been super strong here. Breakout against long-term resistance. If we can get a pullback, great. I'd find a way to get long the Swissy. Japanese yen trading sideways. Euro strong here, very strong along with the Swissy. Dixie, as you know, down. The loonie going parabolic in this spot also, because all these things they trade hard against the dollar. So if the dollar is down, that's why all these things are breaking out. British pound not yet breaking out. Peaked its head above resistance, hasn't done it yet. And Australian dollar looking strong here for continuation. All right, so let's bring that all together. USD down against the won. Trading sideways against the Japanese yen because the Japanese yen is the only one of those currencies that I mentioned that was weak. It was just kind of like meh. And that's because, even against the US dollar, it's not trading very differently. The US dollar and the Japanese yen are oftentimes, Japan their economy is very closely linked to the US dollar. And they tend to do a lot of their business denominated in the US dollar. They use the yen to do dollar swaps and stuff like that. So the economies are the currencies are intricately twined. Okay, so off the cliff here for the U.S. dollar versus the Swissy. Because Swissy's been strong, U.S. dollar's been weak. Same for USD CAD, off a cliff here. Strong for continuation. There's definitely enough. It's definitely enough momentum here. 3 white soldiers in this spot. Well, I guess those are 3 black crows. But New Zealand dollar versus the yen. No strong signal yet. Still above the daily baseline. We're finally getting a short signal here for New Zealand dollar versus the Swissy, which, remember, Swissy has been strong. New Zealand dollar off the cliff against the Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar very strong. As you guys saw, it was practically going parabolic. So this might be too late to take this signal. New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar. Man, how weak is the New Zealand dollar right now if it's down against the US dollar when the US dollar is down against everything else? So the New Zealand dollar could be turning around in this spot. I think this is something to keep our eyes on. So we're still above the baseline, so we don't have a PTP short signal here yet. But it's definitely, we could be getting a reversal in the New Zealand dollar and the Aussie dollar, which have both been very strong as they have entered the height of summer. I've talked about this several times over the past 2 months, and that has borne out since I said those things. British pound trading sideways against the Australian dollar. Looks weak. British pound trading up against the US dollar. Made some new highs, kind of retesting this area. Could be getting a signal soon here. Trading strong against the yen. Weak against the Swissy. The Swissy, very strong. And weak against the CAD here. The CAD going parabolic.
Yeah.
Oof! Look at this 3-day signal right here. This could be a good 3-day signal to take in this spot.
I mean,
But on the other hand, we're still inside of this area, so
if it's going to follow parabolic retracements, you could be looking at 80%.
British pound against the New Zealand dollar. This is a potential reversal signal. If we get back into this area, I would consider this to be a spring. And I would consider this to be an accumulation area. So I would then take this probably back up to this area if we could just get up here. But there's also potential. This is a retest of support, turned resistance, and we'll get a continuation here. So it's just something to keep your eyes on. We do not have necessarily a firm signal here. WADA has not turned green to let us know that we have positive momentum, really. Euro against the US dollar, strong, made some really big new highs this week. I would say we kind of want to wait for a retest if we can get that, and then a solid continuation. Euro only trading against resistance on the yen. Right here, we have not made a new high because the yen has been weak, as we mentioned. Euro NZD. As you can see, I did manage to score a cheeky little long on this a few days ago when there was a break of this daily trend right here. At this point, like this area is resistance. This is still a good trade to take, but you're going to want to wait for it to come back down and retest this baseline. It most surely will. This is kind of just like a reaction off of the bottom on the euro versus New Zealand dollar. Euro Swissy. Swissy has been really strong, as we mentioned. This is really good to take as fading this fake breakout against resistance here. We're going to be below the baseline at the end of today. We'll have a time transformation signal, but looks like we don't have a rising explosion level yet. So maybe not quite yet, but soon. You know, the Swissy, as I said over and over again, has been strong. Euro CAD. CAD going so parabolic. It's strong even against the euro, which is strong against the dollar. All signs point to short. That this will likely continue here. We're below the 3-day baseline. We're still above the daily baseline, but we're going to have a TT cross under right here. I wouldn't really trust this. Euro British pound. We've got a nice break of this long-term downtrend since September right here. I think I got one of our members into this trade, but we just for whatever reason I missed this one when I was calling that day right here. So we're just a little late to enter this. We need a continuation signal at this point. Euro Aussie dollar, we need to get either a continuation signal or we need to pull back in closer to the baseline to get a PTB signal on this. And then Swissy has been super strong. As you can see, we have breakout here against the Japanese yen. I got scared out of this trade right here on this wick. Members know I had us in here. Sorry guys, what can I say? I didn't call it right. We pulled back into the pattern and I thought, well, I guess it's not time for the breakout yet, but hoping we can get a pullback here on Swiss CJPY, and if we can take that, that would be a lovely trade. Okay, that's it for Forex.
Wonderful.
Why don't we?
Indeed.
Yeah, why don't we move back in?
Yes, we will. I have quite a few requests that we're going to fly through. We got about 20 minutes left in the show, so I think we'll be able to get these last few ones in here. Going to highlight this first comment from T-Dub. I might mute it. Is mine working? Let me see here. Something must have went wrong. Oh, no, I'm good. Okay, wonderful. T-Dub, is the US dollar actually doing worse right now, or the worst right now? Yeah, it seems like the US dollar is one of the weakest in the FX markets right now, and I think the analysis kind of concurred with that. All right, next comment, or next request here. Let's take a look. We did that one. We did that one. And I think we did cover Link as well, but Boris Bitcoin was asking thoughts on the Link USD short at day's end. Maybe we could just quickly refresh ourselves on.
I Link Bitcoin. I did not look at Link USD.
Looking very similar to.
Yeah, it's a nice baseline bounce short.
Looks very similar.
We don't necessarily have enough volatility, but this is a continuation short. I'd be down with it.
Yeah, I think
we pegged liquidity here, up here. We pegged liquidity here. Breakdown below this baseline.
I think you'd take it to 1075 easy.
And on the weekly, this looks like it's like basically a big weekly no trade zone right here. Yeah, I think it looks really rough. I would make sure that we actually get the signal, because there's a lot of support in this spot, because this was resistance here, and so now it's our support.
Pretty long-term trend line there.
But if we broke this trend line, then I think all systems fire on that. Everything looks good on the short otherwise. Yeah.
There you have it, Boris Bitcoin. Hope that covered it. Indeed, maybe I need to move my Link bags onto exchange and short, because I woke up this morning. I was a little shocked. I saw that Bitcoin pulled back a bit, then I scrolled down on my trading view list on my phone, and I was like, whoa, Chainlink seriously looking droopy. So shoutouts to Boris, shoutouts to Alex for the analysis. I may very well short those Link bags of mine. Much thanks. Next comment, here we go. We've got Mr. Ether talking about the gap. We've done that one. Mr. Ether saying, I am trying to find a good buy level for the block stacks long term, but I think we covered block stacks earlier, so
we did.
We didn't cover like a long term buy level. Man, I feel like asking me for long term buy level is like saying, what's the bottom of the market, Alex? I have no earthly idea, dude. Let's take a look. Here, reset it. Well, there's one weekly trend to consider. Strong support here, obviously. I'd say pick it up between 8 and 10 cents. That's where I would look to grab block stacks if it broke down. Right in this spot, right down here. As you can see, it's a nice consolidation area here too. Price loves this spot. It's a good area to shoot for. Maybe we go lower. I can't really say for sure, but if you picked it up here, I think this would be good. This is a good spot. Price likes this.
All right, there you have it. Shoutouts to Mr. Ether, the shitcoin accumulator extraordinaire. Mr. Ether seems to just keep accumulating bags and bags, but in all seriousness, I kid a little bit here. I think Mr. Ether's got a nice portfolio of a good array of alts. Okay, we're not talking about the biggest stinkers on the CoinMarketCap, but some quality picks in Mr. Ether's bag. So, shout outs. I hope that answered your block stacks question. Moving along. Challenge Investor asked for Theta earlier, so can we pull up Theta?
Yeah. Ooh. This is really interesting.
Yeah, Theta was looking good yesterday. It was on my list.
Is Theta the video platform? Is this the one I'm thinking of?
Don't think so.
Which is the new one with the video platform aspirations? Why am I thinking Theta?
Wow. Well, I think this chart looks super bullish. It looks like we tried to break down here and there was just too much buying. This it looks like I may end up just being wrong about Theta. We're going to get a weekly signal at the end of this week on time transformation. I gotta say, I'm going to have to eat crow and say that Theta actually looks really bullish in this spot. So, yeah.
Yep, I just confirmed, in fact, that Theta is the blockchain I was thinking of, which is the network purpose-built for video streaming. Launched in March 2019, Theta mainnet operates as a decentralized network where users share bandwidth and computing resources on a peer-to-peer basis. Interesting, yeah. And, I did do a little dive into Theta, I think, last week, and honestly it looked super promising. So between this really spicy-looking chart pattern here and what I've looked into for Theta, I'm kind of tempted to buy here, but that probably means it's going to turn around.
Yeah, I think the reason I really like this is not just because of the USDT pairing, but because the Bitcoin pairing is looking like essentially like it kind of retested its lows. It retested its previous highs in this spot. This looks really good on the weekly. If the weekly closes anything like this, that's super solid. The 3-day also is putting in a little bit of nice bottoming behavior. At the very least, I think you can take this for a retest of the resistance here on the Bitcoin pairing, which is roughly, that's 50% move. So if the USDT pairing, stop. USDT pairing put another 50% move. That puts around $20, $1.10. So, something to consider. All right, I think that's good. I think that looks good in this spot. Yeah. Yep,
that is a good one. How about that? All right, one exciting takeaway, at least from today's episode,
awesome.
is
Wow.
the FOMO to Theta. What were you just saying, Alex? Sorry, I talked over you.
I compared you to Ben Stein.
Oh dear God.
Let's win his
Please
money.
no, please no. Michael R. Nem having a day. What do you guys think of NEM? What's NEM doing today?
I
Nem?
think I looked at
XEM.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's up 22.1% today.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not touching that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks
Great
good a few
movement.
days ago, but now it's like at resistance. I wouldn't buy this spot right here. We could get a
Going to
pullback.
get burned.
Yeah. No risk reward to buy it here in this spot.
Mhm.
We have to set our stop all the way back here. Yeah, I wish we could go back in time and take it. It looks like it was a really good trade before, but now it's not.
I guess that NEM and that Theta really got away from us.
It's just not your trade, man. Sometimes you just don't catch them. That's part of the game.
For
There's
sure.
like 2,000 markets. You know, I wish
Yeah.
I could keep an eye on everything, but it's just impossible.
Indeed, but you know,
Just
we've
be
picked
patient.
some.
You'll have your day.
I think you guys picked out some solid ones though in the last few days and weeks, heck, even months in the premium analysis.
I
and
did tell you
signals,
guys
so,
long XRP that 1 week, so
yeah, I mean that you'll never live down. I can guarantee it. But you do seem you do seem like you're kind of self-aware of that one. You brought it up even before I did. So Alex always can be counted on to remain honest and self-critical. But that's what makes him probably so good. We around here, you know, we kind of reflect, I guess, on our mistakes. We learn quick, and I think our audience and our community kind of benefits. You know, that's kind of what I think people are here for. Is
That's why the community is so important, man. Is because we all do this.
Yep.
The truth of the matter is, when you're doing TA, if you get it right 65% of the time, you are killing it.
You're a monster.
Yeah. And so, I mean, the rest of the time, you just gotta take your lumps and be like, well, got that one wrong. Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah, you just can't let it get to you because it really can mess your mind up if you let it.
Yep. And I think that kind of honesty and even the transparency, you know, for, we do have like the results, crackingcrypto.com. I think we're like one of the few, if only groups that like, you know, publicly.
And today there might be a bunch of alt positions I have to close out at a loss, a small loss, but that's going to prevent the further loss of it. I mean,
Indeed.
it's not being right. Like that's not part of what this game is. I mean, that's what I think a lot of people miss that. They're just trying to get rich quick.
For sure, and I think that's what attracts people to CC is just that. You know, we're very like open, and clearly we're not trying to sell, I don't know, min shots and like easy 100x happy meals, right? We're here very honest. We're not a pump group. We're here
every day.
We're here in the trenches, and then you look back, you know, months and all that of data, and you can see our traders are consistently profitable. So I think that whole consistently profitable mantra is what attracts a lot of people here, and I think a lot of people here are a little more sophisticated and patient, thanks to all of that. And yeah, bouncing ideas off each other is always excellent. Next entry in the request is Andrew, and he says, sold my algo, didn't think it would hang as BTC would come down.
You never do, man. But sometimes they look at XEM, or I mean, yeah, XEM with Bitcoin pulling back, and it's ripping. I think we're gonna see this in the market. You're just gonna see them pop off like spring flowers, like boom, 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 just one at a time.
Spring flowers, I like that. You know who's planted a lot of seeds? It's that Mr. Ether. I know he's got
There you go.
bags. He's got
He's
bags.
got that hex bag, baby.
He got hex bags, algo
Going
bags.
as wild oats.
It's like, you know, I feel like, you know, the Bitcoin maximalism comes in cycles, you know. At the depths of the bear market, you know, you're like, haha, I'm holding Bitcoin, screw you, alt suckers. And then, you know, alt season starts popping off, and the mad gains.
200% gains in a day.
Yeah, and then you're like, God, I wish I just had bags and bags of random junk from the top 100 today because everything's popping off. So, you know, times like this, I feel like I need to expand my alt portfolio, guys. What can I say? But yeah, so Andrew, I think we kind of we also covered algo, of course, earlier in the stream. So there's that. Payam Darian is next, and this is some of our few last requests, guys, because we are kind of around the 2-hour mark. So we will be getting to the exit shortly. Sorry, guys, my throat's pretty dry today. What Bitcoin pairs look the best? Ask Pam. What do we have kind of roughly on the top of your heads, Jason, maybe? Because I know we do keep track of what's kind of roughly on our watch list. Did any Bitcoin pairs look good?
I haven't been able to completely go through an alt scan today.
I think DeFi coins have been kind of looking the most interesting this week. They're, kind of bottomed, and some of them are making new highs. Some of them are still trading a little sideways. And while they may need to take another leg down, it might not need to be a huge leg down.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We marked out some interesting coins when you and I were looking at them at the beginning of the show. Eternity looked interesting in this spot. The other coins could, all right, you see how it made this low, made a new high, and then came down, retested this area, and then took off. Mm-hmm. That's what we could be expecting for the mid-sat alts. So, we were running through these, and a lot of them are retesting the low area right now. Some have pulled up. So Algo right here could do an AE real quick. I mean, it's got the bottom, comes down, retests here. Boop, could pop just right up.
Oftentimes how it happens.
Yeah. Some of these don't look as good, like Souls. Kava is kind of sideways in this spot. There's no signal yet. Band here, we've broken a downtrend here. However you want to draw it. Looks fairly solid. Probably going to be getting a 3-day signal at the end of today. That's one that was looking pretty good. Zen's too late. Nothing there for Ethereum Classic. Yeah, a lot of these were just, maybe they're going sideways and they're going to pump, but we're waiting on signals. We're just not there yet. Waves was also looking good.
Waves was looking good, but as for my signals, it's already passed. You'd have to wait for a new signal.
Maybe. Let's see how today ends.
Look at GNT BTC. This is popping up for me. Definitely getting something out of there, and I like how tight that little that pattern is.
Yeah. I mean, it's just hanging around its point of control. Maybe we even have a bounce off the point of control here.
I'll have to wait till daily close. It's a little overextended for a full risk position, but it's a full signal for sure.
It's got the volatility. It should have time transformation.
Rising explosion level, everything.
Where is it in relation to the baseline? Okay. It looks solid. That's a signal.
GNT is looking pretty good today.
Guys, don't give away all the secret recipes. We still got, we still got a few more requests to go. And the question, just as a reminder from KM, was what BTC pairs look best? And clearly we've got waves and what were we just looking at now?
GNT.
Yeah, courtesy of Jason. So you don't have to let him know every last one, guys. Come on, we still have a few more requests to go. I think Payham, as you can see, the guys have their eyes on several quality Bitcoin pairs here, and stay tuned to the premium analysis later tonight. I'm sure some of these may very well be posted there. If you guys don't mind, of course, Alex, I don't mean to cut you off too rudely, but I do have
that's the end. Yeah.
Mikhail Kittner, Comp USDT, and CAN, CAN. Is he talking about? That's not Canadian dollar.
I think CAN is something.
It's Canadian dollar, or are we talking about something else? That's CAD. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think Comp is huge here. We got to take this today.
Comp looks good.
Definitely, it broke its high, broke through this trading range. This is what we were talking about making the low, coming up, trading downwards, and then popping up. So we're expecting this to make an eternity move, like 10 or 20% boom right up here. I definitely want to take this the end today. I think this is a good signal right here for Comp.
Got myself a little bit of Comp as well.
Sweet. All right, moving along. Let's see here. Who do we have next on today's Breaking Bitcoin? It's going to be T-Dub. How about ADA, Cardano? Sure, it's on the list already, but if not, it's not actually Cardano. And we didn't even cover Cardano earlier today, so let's take a closer look.
I would classify this as looking rough.
I think you're going to get a head and shoulders pattern out of that. I think you're going to break down.
The 3-day looks like it wants to come back down and retest this area again. This is still resistance. So as you can see, this area is resistance, support, resistance. So until we break this area, I wouldn't necessarily want a long ADA versus Bitcoin.
Well, there you have it, T-Dub. Hope that covers it. Next one. Andrew, Alex, can you school us a little more on the VPVR? I've been eyeing the longer point of controls for a while, so maybe we can just do a quick VPVR from Alex. If you're up for it.
Or just the indicator?
I think he means schooling us on more VPVR, so I think he means in general.
I cannot school you guys on VPVR with 3 minutes left in the show.
Yeah, right.
I presume that'd be the case. Sorry, Andrew, we may have to cover that tomorrow. Do cover that later. I'm sure we also have other... we could probably link you. I'm sure I can really quickly dig up a timestamp to a previous episode where it was likely covered in good depth on stream.
Gone over it before.
And it's probably not too hard for me to dig up that timestamp. So, who was that? Sorry, it was Andrew. Andrew, if you want to DM me, I'm sure I can help you cover that. T-Dub, is the US dollar actually doing? Yes, we did cover that as well. All right, I think this is one of our last questions coming in here, and it's T-Dub. Can you take us through the hot Bitcoin pairing, please? Yeah, hot. Let's go take a look at HOT.
This is one of those trades that I'm probably just gonna keep open for a while because I did take hot long.
It looks like garbage. I mean, it's doing nothing basically.
Damn, Alex, like I feel like Ralph here. I've been stabbed in the heart. Ralph Wiggum, that is, because Jason was pretty hyped about.
I'm taking a shot on it, but he's also using a 60 hole. I'm using a 13, which is very difficult for these extremely low sats. Like I said, when I put it up there, I'm taking a shot on this.
I mean, sure, it's a 50% move if you can buy here and sell here, but I mean, really, it's. This is like trading sideways in a super low sat coin. I wouldn't want to touch this.
All right, we'll see. The hot showdown will probably, go down soon. So I look forward to bringing hot up again on the stream come Monday or whenever this trade plays out for you, Jason. And T-Dub.
Yeah, see you guys next year.
And T-Dub. T-Dub asked about hot, so I hope you appreciated that. Let me just see, because I think I might have one final request here. Zora, please, from Smiles J XOR, and that would be, I think, the last one.
Got that. I think XOR looks rough in this spot. I was looking at it this morning. Sorry, my list got moved around. I guess I'll just here it is. Right now, it's still trading at resistance and has not yet broken through. So until we can stay above this area, I don't want to buy it because the risk is that we break back down to this area. That's all for right now. Until we get above this area and can stay there, which we've already been rejected twice. Then this is probably just I don't want to call it a dead cat bounce. There was a decent amount of volume, but nonetheless, a retracement bounce.
Right there, you see that little square? Sorry if my terminology is going to be weird, but looking at that chart, you had your run up, and then you had a high, and then your rejection, and then a run up again. It kind of makes a square.
Well, right here?
Yeah. Like that pattern. Like, in my mind, as soon as I see that, that's usually indicative of reversal. From that last wick up, that last green one, that's right where the reversal usually would occur. So I think you do have a lot more downside to come on that.
Okay.
Like, it's almost like a mirroring effect because it's like a wave basically resetting itself to go the other direction because it often makes a mirror of itself.
I see. Okay. You mean you're saying like the wave is like symmetrical in that way?
Yes, because I mean when you're looking at an oscillating wave, the negative and the positive usually look the same regardless of which way price is moving.
Okay.
And that's just something I look at. But yeah, I agree that I think that that looks weak.
Okay. And then another last way to look at it is to just take the break of this log trend. If this trend breaks, than likely we'll be looking for downside to this area.
Mm-hmm.
And then, unfortunately, that's true for several that I was looking at. Swap, I was looking at, and I did take swap from this area to this area, which was nice. But now I'm just out because we, if you can see, we've got a break of this channel.
Mm-hmm.
If I were,
That's a pitchfork, right?
yeah, that is a pitchfork. If you were to draw this out, we've however you want to draw it, we have a break of trend in this area. Probably take that down to here, if not all the way down to 8 cents for swap. XFT right now just hanging around resistance. I picked some up over here when we broke resistance, so I'm not super happy. But I held through this, and this is like a 30% drop. Ugh. Sucked. But I mean, that's what happens when you play with Uniswap coins. So,
yeah, at least you can't get liquidated, which is nice.
Yes, you can only lose like 98% of
all of your value. Yeah.
Breaking down. So right now, I don't think necessarily if there's a big Uniswap season, it needs to kick in soon, because some of these are starting to look like they're just going to break down.
Go to zero, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's important to keep bringing up too, because there is a chance that a lot of these things are garbage. Like, not all of these have to survive.
We said that about a lot of the alts that were around in 2018, and some of that garbage is still a lot more of that garbage than I thought was going to be is still around.
Yeah, but a lot of them are at really close to all-time lows. I mean,
it's true.
Maybe against Bitcoin, yeah, but
yeah, that's what you get for going against demand.
For trying
Bitcoin, yeah. Let's call it.
Okay, absolutely. I think that was one of the last requests, but there is at least one more topic we are going to cover in today's show, so I appreciate everybody's still hanging on about 2 hours into the show. Well done, everybody. Let me pull this up real quick, and that is going to be one of our news stories for today. This one's kind of interesting. I am excited to bring this one up. Alright, so this is something we mentioned earlier in the show, and that is to do with the comptroller of the currency. Now, again, this is a story you guys may remember. We did cover quite a bit on the show. The appointment of Brian Brooks, which is former head lawyer or head legal counsel at Coinbase, appointed to the office of the comptroller of the currency, major regulatory body in the U.S., and this kind of boded well for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency at large, right? Have someone from the industry potentially helming the currency front on the at the government at a time when everyone's wondering whether we're going to adopt digital currencies and how the government's going to come down. Now, one meme, I don't know if you guys been noticing, if you do follow other influencers in the crypto space, the YouTubers. One story I've heard a lot lately is the regulators are coming, right, for Bitcoin. They're coming for custody wallets. I saw Andreas Antonopoulos make a video on this the other day, kind of debunking it. And I saw a lot of other people, a lot of buzz in the space last week. I don't know what exactly generated this. I don't know if it's just like fake news type of rumor being spread. But the regulators are not coming for Bitcoin. I mean, there's probably is some regulatory reform, but if you're going to take it from Brian Brooks and this article here, it's good, and I'll kind of quickly cover what we're looking at. Okay, here we go. Brian Brooks comments come amid speculation of strict crypto-related regulations pertaining particularly to self-hosted wallets. But Brian Brooks says, quote, nobody's going to ban Bitcoin. So in an interview with CNBC on December 4th, that's today, Brooks downplayed fears of possible blanket crypto ban in the U.S. According to the acting comptroller of the currency, the focus for regulators is not in enacting more regulation, but in creating a conducive environment for the technology to flourish. Brooks added, we are very focused on getting the crypto regulations right. We're very focused on not killing this Bitcoin and crypto thing. So they appeared here on CNBC. I played this clip, but I don't want to get a copyright strike like I did accidentally the other day. So he did appear on Squawk Box and made what I think are extremely positive comments for the space, right? Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong claimed that the U.S. Treasury was looking to rush through regulations targeted at non-custodial wallets. So maybe this is where the rumor emerged from. Brian Armstrong claiming that the government is looking at non-custodial wallets, and I wouldn't be surprised. I just don't know if this is really something the government would really push right now. What do you guys think? Do you think that because there's two ways to take this story. Either Brian Bucks is being honest, and there isn't any regulation coming. In fact, they're preparing to embrace the technology, as he says. Now, do you think he's just playing with us? That really Brian Armstrong from the Coinbase is right? Are they actually quietly putting on this complacent front, but really in the background they're getting regulations ready to target, as they say here, non-custodial wallets? What do you guys think?
Well, they can have their cake and eat it too. They can say, we're not banning Bitcoin. We just need to make sure that Bitcoins are stored at banks where where it'll be taken care of for you, and then everybody is using everybody's using JP Morgan wrapped Bitcoin instead of regular Bitcoin, because all the Bitcoin is held by banks and people don't actually hold any Bitcoin anymore because there's no such thing as a non-custodial wallet. You can't hold your own Bitcoin. And all they have to do is get rid of the software and the companies, and then it'll be really hard for anybody to do that. I mean, maybe we could do it. We're early adopters. We understand how the technology works to a greater or lesser extent. Those of us. I mean, slowly there's some people here who aren't all super techy, but all of us know how to use our keys and wallet passphrases and stuff like that. You take that knowledge away from people, and it removes their ability to sort of mass adopt the Bitcoin financial revolution. Instead, Bitcoin gets co-opted into the old financial markets, and then it becomes just this whole other way that people are oppressed.
Indeed, alluding to the possibility that these new regulations are coming within the closing stages of the current administration. He remarked that these laws would seek to rebalance concerns for all stakeholders. Okay.
All stakeholders. They mean for the government too.
But
the government.
But maybe we need to make a distinction here, and I think really at the heart of this matter may not so much be Bitcoin, but as this says here, the U.S. crypto space has been rocked with stablecoin regulatory discussions in Congress. So the latest congressional bill seeks to mandate federal approval for stablecoin issuers. And I think
realize that stablecoins are already better than the U.S. dollar. I mean,
precisely.
Jesus, they're so much more convenient.
Absolutely.
And for people realize, it's like, oh my fucking God, someone made a better U.S. dollar right underneath us.
Yep, and I think this is probably where, if there is some kind of alarm among regulators, it's going to be on this front. And is it any surprise in the same week we have the huge Visa USDC announcement? Right, that is big in itself, right? I don't know if you guys remember earlier this week, Visa announced kind of like a partnership with Circle and their regulatory approved USDC. It's USDC, right? Is what the Circle product is? Yeah.
Yeah, USDC. I know it means USD Circle, but I call it USD centralized.
Right, but
it's basically
not like decentralized.
It's certainly how the glimpse. It's how the glimpse of the stablecoin future looks, and this is why maybe Tether's days are going to be numbered. This is something that's almost too quiet. When was the last time you heard about Tether FUD or Bitfinex FUD? Right, this is the strongest indication that if there ever is going to be a time, because everybody knows the writing's on the wall, there's going to be a day where it's going to be probably U.S. regulators that do come down on Bitfinex and the whole Tether operation. What's that going to do to Bitcoin? What's that going to do for Space being the biggest stablecoin? Maybe this is going to be the time when the regulators finally clear the space and make room for come-ups like offerings, obviously probably more U.S. based, like Circle, right? So
is it really making room for new innovators when the old companies kind of partner with and then eventually buy out the innovators and they become part of the old companies and then there's still just the old companies.
Yeah, I guess in this case, when it comes to stablecoins, it's going to be picking winners because obviously, if these stablecoins are under the most regulatory scrutiny, then it's going to be probably insiders and whoever's established. So it's like clearly Circle's already at the forefront. The fact that Visa is building basically a rail line around Circle's USDC. Why?
Imagine if suddenly every Visa merchant could accept USDC at their little merchant kiosks.
That's
overnight.
kind of
like
what
60 million USDC
Yep.
locations.
Yeah, exactly. And it might come with some caveats. USDC may not be a very private stablecoin or anything like that. You might have to be on some kind of registry on some level. Nonetheless, the
They
convenience.
can blacklist you. They can take your money. USDC is completely controlled, guys.
Yeah, it is.
I
But
just want, using USDC is like using money from a bank. At any time, your accounts can be frozen, your money can be taken from you. So USDC is it's a blockchain distributed ledger, but it is not a crypto.
yeah,
Hey, Jack. Can we switch back to my screen just to end it? Because
Yes.
I wanted to point out something that I just pointed out earlier on.
absolutely. Let's jump over to Jason's screen.
Just to kind of prove
Yeah,
to you guys,
absolutely.
just to
Here we
kind
go.
of prove to you guys
got
that
you
like
up.
there is a little bit of something to this, and being able to predict the movements based off patterns, and that we're not completely full of shit. This is the new chart that I literally just went through you guys. We were sitting right here earlier, and I put this arrow up like this looked like it's ripe for continuation, and here we go, we got it, and that's already just from that candle and about a 9 to 10% movement. So I mean, these things do work, guys. I mean,
Yeah, that's very nice. Midstream pump materializes.
Nice.
whether that continues or not, but I mean, if you're in it, I mean, take some profit. You just had a 10% movement in one candle, but if this keeps running, it keeps running. Just make sure you're taking profits and not getting burned.
Indeed, nice work there. Indeed, though, we are coming kind of to the close. Let's see how long we've been going. About two and a quarter hour. Very nice. But just something to follow up on what Alex was saying. Indeed, a lot of these stable coins are, in fact, centralized and permissioned. These are, again, because it is meant to be backed by fiat. You have to assume that dollar fiat is in some till or in some accounting book somewhere, right? Some account has this USD, and it's fundamentally therefore a kind of a centralized product, and you're going to waive certain rights to this that you have when you compared to something like a private crypto. But if you do look at historically, there have been people banned from USDT, for instance. USDT accounts have been banned, and other stablecoin accounts have been blacklisted or frozen by the issuers. But it's really happened a very few times, I think, in history of even USDT, for instance. And it usually people who are gratuitously have a court order for being Chinese money launderers or something like that, right? So I wouldn't be too fearful of my my USDC balance. If I'm using it for just normal spending, everything above board, I think it'd be convenient, practical. Yes, I'm giving up probably some rights and all that, but I'm not going to convert my entire balance into USDC. If it means just throwing $100 into your coffee account from time to time, and you go out and you spend USDC at your Visa terminals instead of whatever else you're using. It could very well be the future, at least a glimpse at how some of this will be done. But I mean, nonetheless, regulators are coming after that, but I think it's still a good thing for our space. They're looking to embrace it, guys. I mean, I don't know how else to put this. Visa is putting USDC on board. This is the future, guys. I'm very hyped. Alright, so I think that kind of covers it for today's episode. I'm going to review the last couple comments that came in and say hi. And goodbye.
I also think Bitcoin here on the lower time phrase, guys, is looking pretty weak.
Yeah, I agree.
Very droopy on the hourly. It looks like we're about to sell.
It looks like because it's near the bottom of the trading range, you want to take it back up, but it looks like it's
this looks like a shelf that's not going to break back up. but we shall see. Like heading into the weekend here, guys, I really do think that Bitcoin is going to go sideways here. We're going to probably get some sell-offs. I hope that means that we can get some kind of spark in the alt market. Whether that means that we just kind of all bleed out or not, we'll probably be looking at USDT pairs over the weekend. But I'm hoping, honestly, with the signals that I've gotten, that this weekend plays well for the alts. How do you feel about it, Alex?
I would really like to see alts do well this weekend too. It's going to really depend on how strongly Bitcoin trends sideways. If Bitcoin is pushing down hard while trending sideways, like if we gap fill over the weekend, I know we can't gap fill over the weekend, but you guys know what I mean. If we move back down to the area of the gap, there's a lot of liquidity there. Then I expect alts to probably sell off too. It's really hard for alts to stand up against that kind of.
You need perfect sideways. You can't have a bleed out that hard
People
without
get
affecting.
negative sentiment about the markets. Look at Bitcoin. They're like, do I really want to be in my alt positions, or maybe I'll sit on the sidelines?
And one of the reasons why, like, I was looking at mana here on the lower time frames because I'm trying to get an idea, which I like this a lot for, especially getting, because we are in a mana BTC trade right now, but we are a little bit below. We are a little bit below the 13 EMA, but on the hourly, it does look like we have potential to push up to close above that and keep this trade open. So
of course, that hourly closes in 45 minutes, so we'll see.
Yep, yeah, that's we still got 4 hours till close.
I like that sellers kind of peter out there, like that last sell, the one that looks like it's supposed to push it through support.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing. Sellers are just out. They're like out of supply. It's like,
completely
I'm out of
shaven. Yep.
And then buyers step back in, and on very little volume, they're able to buy it back up in that spot.
Yeah, I really like mana here. I'm glad that I have us positioned in this right now. So I'm really hoping that we get enough to. I mean, I might discretionarily keep it open if it's not above the 13, but I think with what we're seeing on the hourly, there's a good chance we close above it.
I see what you see.
Keeping it in it.
Awesome, guys. I think we've really been in a good flow and jamming away today. It's been a great episode, but I'm going to cover a couple of comments just really quickly before we punch out. And one of them had to do with, for instance, this one from Rob and Pow Donahue. We were talking about your GNBTC there. He says GNT is going to swap to GLM. News today, Binance will support it, so that might have something to do with the GN action.
The GNT? Yeah. I saw he brought that up.
Yeah, so he mentioned maybe the reason, the fundamentals behind the move. So if anybody's curious to check out the news today that Binance supports this swap coming to GNT.
That looks strong, man, especially with this close on the hourly with the continuation. I mean, this GNT might be something I'm definitely looking to take today.
Wow, candle just moved, I think, in front of our, or what time frame you are? Yeah, it just jumped.
Or you might be looking at new BTC because that thing's running.
I'm actually looking at something a few minutes behind. All right, Smiles J did mention that because we did talk to Zora on the stream a few minutes ago. You get 92 Val for every Zora. There's an airdrop coming, indeed. So maybe he was saying there's a bit of potentially fundamental bullish news coming via this airdrop, where it gets you 92 Val tokens, which is the Sora validator token, for every one Sora that you own. So there might be a bit of interest brewing on the Zora network due to that.
I have a really hard time holding Zora because I originally bought it when it was 60 cents. And then I sold it for a slight loss at 50 cents. And I was like, I'm out. And then, of course, we all see what price is now. And it's just, my heart hurts too much when I look at it.
I feel you. Something you have to just put behind you. Never open the book on Zora.
Put it behind you.
Yeah.
No one knew. It was the start of alt season. No one knew.
T-Dub asks, Jack, where do you prefer to trade U.S. exchange-wise? I don't really particularly trade on too many U.S. exchanges. Jason or Alex, do you have any tips for where to trade in the U.S.?
I use a VPN, my friend.
VPN. You can use other
maybe
popular ones, Binance,
FTX.
But I do know Americans generally trade on Coinbase Pro or Kraken. Me in particular have, ideas beyond that. Smiles J, definitely worth watching because of the Val Zora swap, indeed. T-Dub says, I gotta get off Crypto.com and Binance. they're asking him why is
If you DCA, I hear Swan is good. Swan is very good for DCAing.
good for DCA. They're all cracking down on KYC, says T-Dub. Yes, I suppose they are. Lots of regulation. So Binance is even cracking down? I guess so, because now they have Binance.us, maybe they have more incentive, more pressure to drive people to the US site and get them off. I've heard that there has been some more and more people, I think, getting booted off the platform that they identify as American. Rob and Pal does say a lot of regulation coming out along stablecoins. Indeed, Stable Act coming to vote soon. Indeed, that's kind of the highlight of that story. Good, but I do think it just means good things for our space. It might mean like a more legit way for USD to onboard into the crypto ecosystem. This is not bad. Like, the greatest fear I always had was the government cracking down on all on and off ramps into crypto. This is going to be beautiful. This is going to be like a fiat gateway with either Visa or PayPal, whoever the hell creates these inroads, but this is all going to be likely very good. I know it's going to come with a layer of privacy concerns and government incursion, but what can you do? T-Dub, I don't think they can stop personal wallets, but they can force any brick and mortar to comply. Yeah, absolutely. Payment processors already have a lot of tape that they have to go through, so payment processors have a responsibility to do to be on their best behavior and follow all good best practices and all that, right? Philip Carr, Zora, that comment, let's see here. Why do you have to get off CRO? Are they kicking off US residents? TW, why are you? Oh, he says they're enforcing KYC after 31st. Okay, so I'm guessing T-Dub, you have an OG account with Crypto.com, you haven't KYC'd, and now they're enforcing it. Well, that's unfortunate, but I think most people that use Zero.com are fully KYC'd. There's no way to even get the card if you don't KYC like 16 different ways, so. See here. Libra is a focus of the regulators. Indeed, because Libra was trying to be a bit of a stablecoin product, but you whack Libra down, it doesn't stop all these other people from rushing into the market and providing gray market stablecoins that end up becoming very popular. So, I mean, the government's going to have to do something, right? Okay, Facebook's going to listen to you, but maybe not every operator will. And now with already people like Circle in the door, it's time to get. I think the government really needs to do something about again figuring how the landscape is going to look. T-Dub, I'm referring to the Zero exchange, not the app. Okay. So people getting kicked off exchanges. Americans are going to have nowhere to run and hide. Alex, I did that with Link. Oh, I think he means averaging in at 75 cents back in 17, sold at $1.13. Been kicking my own ass ever since. Oh, he's referring to a coin you don't ever want to buy again, no matter what it does, because you were involved.
It hurts too much, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we end this show?
Yep.
Yes, Alex, that is it. That was the last comment. We're all caught up. Thank you to everybody who joined us today.
Right,
it's Friday. It's been a great one. Thank you again for everyone who joined. Cheers, everyone, going to the stream ending. Much love.
Yep. Trade safely, everyone.
Love you
See
guys.
next
Have
week.
a great weekend.